All right, so we are here for the last talk of today. We have Zoltan with us. He's the head of user experience at Central Way. He has also recently moved to Zurich, and maybe you know him from the web, from the UX Myths website. And he's going to talk about common design misconceptions.
Okay, so hello. I guess you had a pretty tough day, so I will take it easy. For your convenience, I'm wearing a similar shirt as our colleague pointed it out. It will be easier to get me after the meeting. So, I always wanted to do this actually, so please make the weirdest face you can. You can do anything. I just want to make a picture. I never have a picture from this perspective. Can you do it for me? Okay. Thank you. So let's begin. Just to get it straight from the beginning, so you have no... Well, any questions on this one? No. Okay. So, as mentioned, my name is Zoltan. And, well, since I already have a picture of you on my phone, I was thinking whether I should just go ahead and ask you guys whether I can just come over to your place anytime I wish. Please raise your hands if I can come over to your place whenever I feel like. Is somebody... Thank you very much. Thanks. 3 or 4 people. It's a bit disheartening, but... The reason I ask this question is because maybe we don't realize, but we do it all the time. This is Thrillist. Thrillist is not your everyday startup app. Thrillist has a revenue somewhere north of $100 million per year. So it's a big deal. This is what happens when you download the app, you open the app, even before you sign up, even before you know anything. Hey, can I send you push notifications anytime I want on your phone? And, well, that's rude, right? That's not good manners. That's somebody with a semi-decent upbringing would never do such a thing. In real life, you don't do that. Still, I mean, yours truly is... I'm an offender as well. I've did a couple of implementations and developments like this, but it just doesn't feel right. So that opens my talk, which will be about misconceptions around mobile. So this is the first one, that we should take some features that the operating system provides us for granted, and it just works. Now the question is it a problem when you show such a dialogue? Well, it is. The fine folks at Cluster, which is a mobile app, they did a research, and like 50% of the people can easily say no for such a dialogue. And the thing is, if you think about it, if you say no, you don't allow push notifications. Later on, if you change your mind, well, good luck. It's virtually impossible. You have to go to the deep bowels of the iOS settings to get it back again. So what can you do about it? Basically, like in everyday conversation, you start not with a demand, not like, let me send you push notifications, but you start explaining. This is what it is. I would like to send you push notifications. Or you, of course, say the benefits. And then you have the option whether to turn it on or not. The good thing about it, if you think about it, is, first of all, it will boost your conversion. Absolutely. The second, even if somebody says, hey, not now, you haven't lost anything, right? You can ask this again, because it's not the stock dialogue that can only come up once in the app. So that's one thing. The other thing, just as important, is to time it right. The blitzkrieg, it doesn't work. Let the user, it's the same with any conversation. You just wait, you build it up. So instead of having it as the first step, you just wait a little bit, and when you already establish the conversation, then you can ask it. Makes sense, right? I think it's obvious. Still, so many offenders. Yep. So then we have the next stock OS feature, Rate My App, which is the pop-up ads of mobile applications. Come on, we invented blockers for these kind of things. And now it's happening again in apps. And, well, it's not good manners. Again, it's shaky. What can you do about it? Well, first of all, again, you can time it right. This is from Google Sheets. And what they do is they only pop this up when you are closing a sheet, a spreadsheet. So they acknowledge the fact that you open the app not to rate it, but to do something. They wait until you're done, and then, yes, of course, they ask for it. It's absolutely okay. It's needed. You need to have some reviews. You need to have some feedback. In the case of Google and Sheets, I still find it a bit pushy, because they have like 3,000 reviews, so they really don't need more. But I think this is okay. This is a lot better. If you want to be more, if you want to have even better manners, you can, and if you have such things as success screens or anything that just shows that something has gone through, then you can even have it there, not pushing into the face of somebody. And the best thing, and if you're not doing this, this is something you definitely should try. Whenever you have a conversation with somebody, I mean a real conversation, like somebody contacts you and you have your support team or yourself, you're having a conversation. Even if you can't solve the problem, ask for a review. It's amazing. I mean, you will have good reviews, which is not bad, and you will have a huge conversion rate. Yep. So you can optimize it. You can take a lot of steps to make it better. Just one thing, you have to be very, very careful not to be a torturer. Again, I've been there, I've done that. When you have success in just optimizing the small things and getting better and better, you always risk going too far and just squeeze that 1% conversion rate, have a better conversion rate regarding rating or whatever. And it's easy to fall to the dark side. Okay, so on to the next one, the next misconception. I think this is the most harmful one. And probably this is because it's been around for a while, and not too long ago this was true, that mobile users are distracted. As most people think about it, mobile users have the attention span of a goat. They just can't focus on something. That's crazy. There's even an acronym for that. It is the mobile user's attention deficit disorder. There's such a thing. The question is it true? Well, yes, of course it's true. Absolutely, come on, just think about it. 75% of people admit that they use the mobile phones in the bathroom, in the restroom. As Luke Wroblewski always said, the rest is lying, whatever. And have that faith in humanity to think that these sessions are not the most engaged, most deep sessions. So, yeah, we are distracted. But the thing is, we are distracted everywhere. I mean, come on. Watching TV, 80% of the people who watch TV, they use their mobiles. 2/3 of the people who watch TV, they eat and they chat. And when you're driving, 40% admits that they eat while driving. We talk with others, and even 8% admits that they are texting while driving. Don't take it as a social proof. As for our laptops and desktops, come on. This is a multitasking device. You have instant messaging on. You have Facebook, you have Twitter. Of course, again, you're distracted. So I think distraction is not something that affects mobile only. It's there, it's out there. Of course, there are situations where it affects mobile more, but No, it's not a new phenomenon. But the thing is, there's a common picture of the mobile user who is just rushing to catch the bus. In one hand, he has the phone, and that's how he's using the mobile apps. But the news is, most of the mobile usage occurs at home or at work, except for talking, texting, and emailing. 2/3 of mobile searches are from home or work, and even more, like 3/4. And 2/3 of every mobile usage, except for the mentioned activities, occur at home or work. So mobile is not on the go. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. For example, if you take tablets, tablets are home devices. So it's very important that we stop thinking of mobile as something that only distracted users use for really, really short sessions when they are on the go. And this is because people are people. Their needs, their context, their intents, it doesn't change because they are using a different tool. You have to start thinking about mobile as just the nearest device. Sometimes you get your mobile because, come on, it's there. It's the easiest. Just think about it, 30%, it just came out, this stat, 30% of Facebook usage, active usage, is mobile-only usage. So it's crazy. Okay, on to the next misconception, and here I would like your participation. Here you see two versions of the BMW iDrive. It's a control knob. Please, let me know what you think, which one is the older and which one is the newer. So raise your hand if you think that the one on the left, yes, I did it right. The one on the left is the older and the right is the newer. Good. The opposite, who thinks, did I do it right? I'm not sure. Who thinks that the one on the right, your right, is the new one? Thank you. It's the old one. Come on, you're listening. That's good. Okay. I got so confused in this. So the thing is, that is the old one. And it's again against everything, right? It is. That's the original version. And they added the extra buttons to make it easier to use. Yes, they did, because they have some feedback. And come on, driving it's not just about usability, it's not just about user experience. It is about safety. So they needed those buttons. And that leads us to the next one, which is less UI. UI works better. Simplicity is important, but simplicity is not having less. Simplicity is not having a minimalist approach. Just think about this. Not too long ago, the hamburger button was it was used everywhere. Facebook used it as well. It's such a nice solution, right? You can have just a single small button, and you can have everything there. Crazy. And super. So what did they do? After testing with millions and millions of users, they opted for the tab bar. And this is what they have at the moment. There are so many advantages of this. But basically, they had to expose these UI elements to make it work better, because design is not about having everything that's ugly or not, just put it away. No, you have to expose that, because design is how it works, that it works well. And you can have the next example, which is Twitter. I don't know, I guess you remember when Twitter used to have the swipe menus. So again, the reply, retweet buttons, they didn't want them to be exposed. And it was a nice solution. But then again, they changed it. They exposed these buttons. Is it prettier? I don't think so. Is it simpler? Well, that depends, but I think it is. Does it work better? Well, I'm pretty sure it does. So then again, it's a very important lesson. Simplicity is our goal. This is what we should be aiming at all the time. But simplicity doesn't just mean getting rid of stuff, getting rid of the UI, and hiding everything. And still exploring simplicity, that's the next one. And I think it's very much fueled by Silicon Valley and the startup world, which is, again, I worked at such a company. And it's very good, but I think if you look at the big picture, it's a bit more complicated. So mobile apps shouldn't go deep. They shouldn't have advanced features, and they shouldn't have complex functionality. And here again, it's very important to make a distinction between complexity and complicated. Complicated that's not good, it's wrong. But complexity, you can have complexity. And I'm pretty sure you've heard many times the 80/20 rule. The thing is, the 20 is it's a very good bootstrap strategy. So if you want to launch a new thing, yeah, concentrate on the 20. But if you want to grow, if you want to have a long-term strategy, it's very difficult to do it with that 20. Because different people have different needs. They need different 20% of your app. And that is what works in the long term. So actually what's important, and this is really important, is you have, when a user is using your app, basically their time is divided into two slots, two buckets. One is the time they spend with the tool, which is just operating it, getting to the menu. And if you think about the Facebook example, now it's getting a lot easier to get into your messages. Okay, not that, but get into different tabs than it was before. So that is tool time. That you don't really want to do that, but you have to because the tool requires you to navigate and stuff. And the other thing is the goal time, when you're really doing what you set up to do. And that's good. I mean, it's not a problem if the goal time is a long time. No problem at all. So let's see an example. It's a common usability engineering joke. This is what you get if you ask a usability engineer to design a game. I think it's pretty usable. I mean, you have to tap the button, you save the princess, right? This is really good because tool time, minimal. The big problem is that goal time is minimal as well. And if you're into games, then you want to spend time, you want to grow, you want to have rewards, you want to get better at something. So don't ask usability engineers to design a game. Again, if you think about it, iOS is getting a lot more features nowadays. Here's the control center, which is, I think it's awesome. I'm using it all the time. Actually, it's decreasing my tool time because whenever I want to just change the brightness, put it into airplane mode, take a picture, something like that, I don't have to go through such many steps. So again, complexity, come on, it's not easy to discover this functionality, right? You have to swipe from the bottom. There's no affordance. Nothing tells you that it's doable, but still. Okay, but getting to more extremes. Have you heard of Yo, the app Yo? Perfect answer. Come on. This app got popular because all you could do is just Yo. So where are they now? They are adding hashtags. They are adding URLs that you can share. They have the Yo index. I'm not sure what this is for, but I think it's for the most popular Yos, something like that. So, I mean, the point here is if they want to grow, and I think they got a $1 million evaluation, $1 million evaluation. So that's huge for something that you can send a Yo with. They got the evaluation because they set out to do more. So this app is getting more and more complex as well. And yeah, this is just a quote from a review of Google Sheets, which is a brilliant piece of software. Still, it's missing something. Come on. People are always demanding for more and more and more. I will just quickly go through a couple of examples here. These are the filters at Airbnb, in the Airbnb app. 9 of them. 27 menu items in the More menu of Facebook. I'm using many of them. And this is the new Google Analytics app with 32 items in the menu. And I'm so glad that finally we have something like this, because all the Google Analytics apps that we had so far, they were very simple. I just couldn't use them because they were not fit for my needs. And lastly, this is quite new as well. 54% of the people asked said that the mobile version of websites don't provide them enough information. I guess you had this experience many times when you're on your mobile phone and you have to switch to the full version. It just doesn't make sense, because mobile is not something that should be done by. Okay, there's one thing when it makes sense to get everything simplified to the bare bones, and that is when you are building an MVP just to test your idea. But here again, it's very important to see that an MVP for a mobile app, it doesn't have to be a mobile app. It's tricky because at the end you want to build a mobile app and you're really enthusiastic about just starting to build it, code it, design it. But it's different what you want and what your user wants. Here's TimeHop. I'm not sure whether it's quite, I would say it's quite successful. They started out as an email. So basically you signed up for this. They called it Foursquare 7 years ago or something like that. And then every day they sent you an email with a memory. They grew to be an app, a very successful one. The already mentioned Thrillist, they started out as a newsletter for 600 or something like people, and they grew from that. Lastly, Sunrise. It's a very, very good calendar app. They started again as an email. They just sent you an email with your schedule for the day. So it was a morning email with your schedule for the day. That was it. So this is how they tested their idea. And later, they grew to be a complex app. If you want to test your idea, sometimes you don't even have to go that far. This is something we did very, very often at Ustream, where I used to work. We called it a ghetto test. I think that the proper name is a fake door test. Basically, this is something that you use whether you want to gauge whether there's a demand for something. You don't build anything. You just put out the feature, you just put out a fake button, a fake website, or something like that, and you see what happens. It was Zynga, the game developer company, who pioneered this, and they went even so far that they didn't even have like an excuse, like, oh, sorry, this doesn't work, but maybe next time. They just had an error because they were so keen on testing everything before even just coming up with designs or prototypes. There's one thing you have to be very careful when you're doing such tests is the V in an MVP stands for viable, but it's not the same as desirable. So in order to have some real data, what you build has to be desirable, not just functioning. And the last acronym is for what you design is what you get. So you will have only information about your design. It doesn't mean that the idea is good or not. It means that how you implemented this idea is good or not. Maybe the idea is perfect, but your implementation isn't, and therefore you don't see any good results. The last one. Testing mobile apps is difficult. super easy to say, no, of course not, testing is super easy. I still meet a couple of people who don't test their apps. And just to give you something encouraging, this comes from our test. This was a prototype test done in München. We went to München, and, well, actually, we visited beer tents, because you have them there. And we just went there, and we just asked a couple of people, hey, let us pay for your beer, and we only need like 5 minutes of your time. Many people said, yeah, of course, why not? And we just showed them our prototype. We asked them a couple of questions. Super easy. It was done in a couple of hours, and we got so many really valuable feedback. It's super easy. It's just the first step. You have to start doing it. And it's very nice to see, watch back all the recordings we made and just count how many beers have been consumed during the tests. Here's a nicer example. She is Francine Lee, and she tested the Dropbox app, so you can do it without beer. And the reason why I urge you to do it totally informally, just quickly and easily, is because most of the times what you will find are like banana peels, super easily fixable problems, things that you're, oh, come on, I just didn't think about it. So even with friends, even with family, whenever you're building something, just go around, show it, don't be shy, do it. This is how it ends. Vitamin C doesn't help you when you have common cold. Not at all. If you want to know more about this, and anyway, I would recommend this book and only this book. This is not a UX book. This is not a design book. This has nothing to do with mobile apps. But I think it's one of the best books to help you thinking critically and just questioning everything. So that was it. Any questions?
Thank you very much. Do we have questions from the audience? Please raise your hand so that I bring the microphone.
I was wondering if you could elaborate a little bit on the BMW history. Obviously, they wouldn't change it if there wasn't user feedback. But what I'm curious about is the new design really the solution, or is the new design just opening up a whole new set of problems or new feedback that says, well, this ain't working either? Because I'm questioning if I've never actually tried the iDrive, but from whatever I've seen in the media and in pictures, I'm like, this can't work. This is not a product I ever want to use. And so I was wondering if adding those buttons actually does anything, or if it's actually just making it worse in some other way.
To give you my candid answer, I have no idea. I know this bit, and when I discovered this, I talked with a lot of BMW owners, and they said, oh, I even had a client that it was super hard to convince him about something, because, again, he wanted something to be just not exposed, just hide it because it's not nice. And then I brought up this example, and he has a BMW, and that was the end of the conversation. Yeah, you can have your button. So, but to be honest, I don't have any background on the development of the story. So, but it stayed, because it's not new. It's been around. I mean, the new version has been around for quite a long time now. I think, whoa, I don't know, but definitely more than 3-4 years. And it's there still. So, but then again, no insider information.
Hi, thank you for this inspiring talk. I just thought about a tweet 2 days ago, which mentions that what I've seen, your smartphone users doesn't install very more apps every day and every month. So do you have a...
I guess it goes like they install 0.
Yes,
apps.
like 65% install 0 apps every month. And maybe you can give us an additional myth. Mobile app or mobile web application? What do you think?
I think our time is over, right? It's a very difficult question, and if you go back in the newsfeed, you will see that the mobile web is dead, because that was not too long ago that people started announcing that the mobile web is dead. My personal opinion is that we will see, so the app economy boomed, and I think now we will see consolidation, because people just have some time. I mean, it's limited. Even if there are like 10 times as many apps as we have now, your time is limited. So I think this will consolidate, like it was with the PC and it was with PC programs. Whether the app or the web is the right way to go, actually, there are many stats about how you spend more time in apps and less in web. I've yet to see one that takes into account that, okay, you spend a lot of time in apps, but okay, that's Facebook, that's Twitter. And of course, if you're building an app, you won't be a Facebook or a Twitter, or the chances are low. So if you exclude those, then what is the proportion between app and web? Because with these included, of course, yes, of course, it makes sense. I didn't answer the question, and I have no answer for the question. At our company, we believe in apps. We go absolutely for apps. And that's our take on it.
Are there more questions?
Hi, please allow me to put more salt in that wound. About a month ago, I heard the sentence, yeah, we have to do it as an app because then we have gained a customer. So the product was already done, it was web-based, and then they said, oh, we put that into an app and use WebView and don't offer it directly accessible in the browser. So I think they can also go to that myth list.
Absolutely. I mean, for all these questions, of course, the right answer is it depends. Because sometimes it does make sense to have less UI, of course. But it shouldn't be the goal. So again, it's not the right mindset to have it as a general rule. Sometimes it makes sense, and sometimes it doesn't. I mean, for Apple, because they have like mostly unlimited airtime in TV, so if they start to announce, or Google for that matter, if they do something in an app, yes, people will know about it, they will download it, and yes, of course, it's a better channel through an app. But if you're not Apple, you're not Google, well, it's different.
More questions? Maybe I can ask a question. So all these myths that you have shown were, well, in a way related to, let's say, well-known or success or in-success stories. Mm-hmm. Maybe focusing on the success stories nowadays, can you predict the future myth?
No. No.
In which direction is this going? Like, what is next going to be maybe wrongly interpreted?
So the question is, what will be the next misconception?
Yeah, on your list. If you can predict anything.
No, I have no such a thing. I mean, I had to prepare a presentation, so yesterday I was like...
All right. Thank you very much. I have also an announcement. So thank you very much, Zoltan.